All right, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Well, I'm still hanging. Weeks of lockdown. Wow.
How many more weeks do we got until the semester's over?
Like what? Like end of May?
Yeah.
Like I think the last class is the 3rd week of May.
Okay. It's coming in quick.
And then after that's the final, right? Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people here. Where's Jared? I see his name, but he's not here. All right. Okay, I wanted to go over this page here. This is the way intervals are calculated. We just go up the scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We just take a major scale and go up, right? And we got whole step, half step, right? We know this, right? Link, right? Whole step,
Yes.
whole step, half step. We know that already. So this is the major scale. These are the intervals in the major scale. Okay, tonic or the unison, right? Okay, now these pages here are in your book I gave you. The I'll show you. It's this book here. You guys got this book, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that all this is in your book here. All right, so all right. There you go, prime unison. And now there's the intervals. So here's the names of them, right? Prime unison, second, and so forth. A third, line, a fourth, line space, a fifth, line. Let me redo this. We want to go prime unison, and then we want to use purple. We got line, 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 and line, line. Those are the ones where you got a third, and then the next one. See, here's this would be a third right in there, right? So there's a third, fifth. So it goes 1, 3, 5. And the 7, you could have a note here, right? You could have a note there, right? So you got 2 lines in between there. So that's 1, 3, 5, 7. So the 2 outer notes are a 7th, right? Here's 1 and 5. The 2 outer notes are a 5th, right? Okay, so we've got a second, that's a line space, a fourth, line space, a sixth, and then an octave, nth, a 12th, 14th. Those are the ones that are not line, or space. The line are these. We got third, fifth, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th. And some people use 15th, but it's 2 octaves. So 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th. These are called diatonic intervals. Dia is Greek for through, Tonic means tone for through the notes, through the tones. Okay. All right, so then oops. Now, beyond diatonic intervals, we have chromatic intervals. All right, so now what we get is this. Where is my music paper? Over here, is that it? Yeah, okay. Okay, so now if I got this interval here, F to A, what kind of interval is that?
Third.
A third, right? That's our pretty much generic term for an interval like that. So what that means is it belongs to the, here's the F major scale, right? F, G, A, B. Look how good I'm getting at this. Now our F scale has our famous salute, right? You guys remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know Kelsey does. She gave us a little demo. All right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? Or 8, right? So F and F are called the unison, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and then if you have problem sleeping, you take Unisom.
Okay.
Only Kim got that joke. All right,
It's an age thing.
so it's unison, right? F and G. What kind of interval is that?
Second.
That's our generic term, second, right?
Mhm.
But since we're using a major scale, we now call this a major second. Now, if we have F and A, that's our term for the third, but we call this a major third. And we have F and B flat. That's called a perfect fourth. And then F and C, we have a perfect fifth. And then F and D, we have a major sixth. Then F and E, we call that a major seven. So for major intervals, we have 2, 3, 6, and 7. For perfect intervals, we have unison, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, and we have our perfect octave. And so we have these notes here. If we have F, whoops. If we have F, we have G. We're just writing out the scale again. A, B, C, D, E, F, right? And then don't forget, salute. All right. So from here to here, F to G, that's a second. But since it's the major scale, we call that a major second. Now, here's what we calculate. Let's get out our chromatic number lines. We want to look at those for a minute. So we have A sharp, B flat, B, C, C sharp, B flat, D, D sharp, E flat, right? You guys with me still?
Yes.
F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A, and you can keep going, A sharp, B flat, right? B, C, C sharp, D flat, D, D sharp, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B, C. Somebody stop me. All right. All right. So you get the idea. All right. So now F to G. So F to G, 2 half steps. And that's called 2 things. It's called a whole step, right? Not a whale step. Hold on a second here. Somebody's going to say, why don't you just use the text tool? Oh, yeah, okay. I can hear it already. All right, so 2 half steps is the whole step, right? Now, that's also called a major second. So that distance of 2 half steps is a major second. All right, so we're clear on that? All right, so now we're going to graduate from being white belts in the intervals to yellow belts and chromatic intervals. We got our new belt today. All the martial arts have different scenarios for belts, right? Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you go from white belt to blue belt to purple to brown to black. And then Kung Fu is white, yellow, green, brown, black. What's karate?
White, yellow.
Oh,
I want to say orange.
Orange, yeah. And
I
then
was gonna say, isn't that an orange or red in there somewhere?
And isn't there red?
red's usually for the top of the line.
It goes red, brown, and then black.
Oh, it does? Okay. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, red is like grandmaster. And in Kung Fu, red is the grandmaster. And then, whatever. You guys graduated from being white belts here. All right, so here we got a major second. Now, let's take a look at this. What's this distance here? That is 1/2 step. It still is a second, but we're going to call that a minor second. Okay, now, if you had some academic person saying, well, we could go both directions. We can take G and drop it down to F sharp, and that makes a minor second, or G to G flat is actually the minor second, because then both letter names are G, right? So you can take F and go up to G sharps, they're both letter names, right? That's still a second, but we call that's 3/2 steps. We call that an augmented second. So if we have F to G flat, that's a 1/2 step, that's a minor second. We have F to G, that's a whole step, that's a major second. If we have F to G sharp, that's an augmented second. And there's F, right? And because each one of these notes has a letter named G, we're going to call it a second. Okay, so now, if I have F to G, that's a major second, but F to G flat, that's a minor second. So F, G flat. Then I have F, G sharp. That's 1, 2, 3/2 steps. That's called an augmented second. Okay. So now we have the intervals. If you have major intervals, right? Major, second, right? Third, 6th, 7th, 9th, right? Let me fix that. Those are all your major intervals in a major scale, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 9. Here's all your perfect intervals. 4, or unison, right? Uni, 4, 5, and 8, octave. So those are the perfect intervals. Now, if you take major, let me backtrack here. We're going to erase that just to give us some more real estate here, because we're going to cover that later. All right, so if you got major, any one of these intervals is a major, right? But if you take that down to a flatted second, that's a minor. Major down goes to minor. So 3 down to a flat 3, that's a minor third. A 6 down to a flat 6 is a minor 6. A 7 down to a flat 7 becomes minor. A 9 down to a flat 9. All are minor. If you go up, they become augmented. So 2 going up to sharp 2 becomes an augmented second, or AUG 2, right? And then some textbooks have A2. So we got A2, AUG2, sharp 2, and plus 2. And one of my wise-ass students wrote on a test, AUG2. I said, well, all right, that'll work. I understand it. I didn't discount his grade because it was funny. It's AUG2, right? Anyway, so a sharp 2 is augmented. Now a 3 up a half step is a sharp 3. So that's an augmented 3. A 6 up a half step is a sharp 6. A 7, well, if a 7 went up a half step, if you have the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? You got whole step, half step, right? Whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. But if a 7 goes up a half step, it becomes an 8, right? So
yeah.
we don't have that because it becomes an octave. All right, the next one is 9. So 9 up a half step becomes a sharp 9. And we can keep going in the scale. We have a 10, we have an 11, a 12, 13, 14, up to there. We only use this one and this one when we're talking about scales. We never use 12, we never use 14, and we never use 15. So these are the notes that we use, 10, 11, 13. So we can have an augmented 10th if you want. All right, we can definitely have an augmented 11th. We can have a sharp 13. And then that's it. That's the cutoff right there. So we're not going to worry about all this right now. Let me get a bigger. That's my grandson saying, I drew a picture of you. Wow, thanks a lot. All right. So if we have a scale, let's get our good old C scale, right? Look at that lousy, terrible clef. Wow. God.
Doesn't look too bad.
Drawing with the mouse is just terrible. So if we have a major scale, we have a major second, right? We have a major third. We have a perfect fourth. We have a perfect fifth. Then we have a major six. And then we have a major seven. So we have major exists on the 2, the 3, the 6, and the 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect exists on unison 4, 5, and 8. And this is all we get in a major scale. If we stay with these notes, we don't modify those notes. This is all there is in a major scale. Major second, major third, major sixth, major seven. Perfect unison, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, perfect octave. Now, let me let you guys hear what these sound like. Okay, so here's G and G. That's a unison. G and A, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, perfect octave. Let me turn off this little phaser here. Okay, so if you got C and C like this, that's 2 C's, that's a unison. Okay, now the next perfect interval above that is the fourth. Now, do you guys know what song uses perfect fourths?
Oh, you said electronic. Oh, no, deep purple.
Is that before your time?
No, deep purple.
Yeah, that's all fourths. Okay, then fifths. They call them power chords in rock and roll, perfect fifths. And now sixths sound like this. A little more dainty. So those are the major intervals, right? So if I have G and G, that's a unison, right? But if I got G and A, so let me clear this up here. There's G and G, right? That's a unison, right? G and G. Now, what song uses that? Here's a fifth. What song uses a unison and a fifth? This one? You guys recognize Green Day?
When September ends.
Yeah, so it goes unison, fifth. And then it goes down. That guy knows his intervals pretty good. All right, so there's unison. So we got G and A, right? That's the next note in the scale, right? So G and A sounds like this. Not that pleasant when you play them together. We call that word dissonant, right? But that's a major second. Now here we go. What would a minor second be? G
Flat.
and not G flat, but G and A flat. You guys ready for this? Ready?
Yeah.
Don't wince. Minor seconds. Pretty gnarly, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if you go G and A flat, G and A, now G and A sharp, so that's G and A still, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we still count it as a second, right? But that's an augmented second. Because the natural second in the scale is a major second, right? G and A like this. But if we sharp it, it's an augmented second. If we flat it, it's a minor second. Okay, so that's what that sounds like. Now, if we have, let's do this again. I'm going to practice. G, after A is a B, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do we call that?
Third.
Major third.
Major third.
Major third, because here's a third, right? We learned a third is two lines, right? There's a major third, right? So what if we do this? If we go G and B flat, that's still a third. We call that a minor third. And it sounds just like the augmented second. Because if you have G and B flat is the same note as A sharp, isn't it? B flat, it's the same as A sharp, isn't it? Same note. So they sound the same, but since the letter name is B flat, we're calling it a third, right? And since it's A sharp, G to A is a second. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's G to B flat. And then here we got G to B natural. That's a major third. Okay. Now you could do one more. You go B sharp. And academically, that makes that an augmented third, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we try to avoid this B sharp because that's the same as C, isn't it? So G to C, we already know that that's a perfect fourth, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the augmented third is the same as a perfect fourth. These are not that much used in documentation or scores. Rather, people just go for the perfect fourth. Because here's a third, here's the augmented third. It's a perfect fourth, same thing. What was the song they did after that in 1974? You guys heard Burn?
Yeah. I know the song, but
Okay, so I'm just showing you how to name these intervals. Okay, so now we got a G here. So after here's the fourth, right? We can raise that up. And that becomes an augmented fourth. So here's a fourth. Here's an augmented fourth. Okay, we got a fifth. Here's the fifth, right? Perfect fifth. Now we can go up. Right? Make that an augmented fifth. So here's G, perfect fifth, augmented fifth would be. Or we can go down. We can take that perfect fifth, G, and then make that a D flat. So we call that a diminished fifth. So it sounds like this. And the diminished scale has flat five in it all the way. All right, so let me go backtrack a little bit. Clear, and then we'll go here. All right, so here's this page here in the chromatic intervals. So you got major, you can go up. Oh God, not this again. Major going up becomes augmented, right? Major going down becomes minor. So that's the basis right there. Perfect. If it goes up, becomes augmented, right? And if it goes down, it becomes diminished. Okay, so now here we got C to C. We got a unison, right?
yes.
Okay. So C sharp and D flat, that's the same note, isn't it?
Yes.
So C sharp, a second above C sharp would be D, right? A minor second, but that's D flat. So that cancels out. That's the same note either way. Now we have C and D. So C, D, that's a whole step, right? We call that a major second. Okay, so this chart is in your book here. So read through this a little bit here, all right? Now, we have this. Here again, we have perfect fifth. Raise that fifth up a half step, it becomes an augmented fifth. Major, that B flat up to B natural becomes an augmented sixth. So perfect and major, if you go up, they both become augmented. Okay, if you go down, perfect, down becomes diminished, and major, down becomes minor. So let me do this. So major, up is augmented, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, up is augmented, right? I'm watching too many commercials for AARP, right? So any major interval or perfect interval going up a half step becomes augmented. Now, if you have a major interval and it goes down, that becomes minor. If you have a perfect interval and it goes down, here we have the new interval, new word, diminished. So there's your basic rule. Anything major goes up. Like here's a major six. We go up. That's an augmented six. Here's a major six. I go down. That's a minor six. You see all those intervals that you learned, the third, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Now you can make them, there's more. You can make major or minor out of them, or augmented or diminished. So we address all the notes in the chromatic scale. All right. So now, if we have our chromatic number line, I'll just go to there, and then I'm going to use blue for the B flat, right?
I was going to say you left off the flats.
Yeah. Okay, now, so here's what we got. We got one right there, A to A sharp. Well, since it's both letter name A, we could call that A to A sharp. We don't do this hardly at all, but we could call it an augmented unison. But much better to use A and B flat. We call that a minor second. So A to B, that's a major second. A to C, that's called a minor third. Now, if you use A to C sharp, you could call that an augmented third. Right? Oh, sorry. Minor third after minor, we call that, I screwed up, what's a major third? So A to C sharp is a major third, right? Now, if we got A to D, that's a perfect fourth, right? And if we have A to D flat, that's the letter name. It's a fourth, but it's down. So we call that a diminished fourth. If we go up, we call that an augmented fourth. So if we have A to E, that's a perfect fifth. But if we go down a half step, that's a diminished fifth. Okay, so now we do it again. So if we're going to use the major scale, we got A to B, that's a major second. Then A to C sharp, major third. Because we got whole step, right? And then A to D, that's a perfect fourth. That doesn't look like a P. That looks like my dog pooped or something. How about that? Since my name starts with the letter P, I should be able to write it, huh?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. For the confidence. Here's our perfect fifth. And then here is our major six. And then here, that's our major seven. So we got A, oh, let me use a different color. Let me use orange. We got A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. That's our major scale. Well, we got these in-between notes, right? So you can base it on this. So if you got A to B, that's a major second. That A sharp or B flat, that's going to be a minor second, right? Here you have A to C, that's a major third. So the C is going to be a minor third. Okay, here you have perfect fourth, then you have perfect fifth. Well, if you're at the fourth and you go up a half a step, that's an augmented fourth. If you're E and you go down to E flat, that's a diminished fifth. Okay, so here's your major, your perfect fifth. This is your major six right here. And if you go down, that's a minor six. So F is a minor six. Here you have your major seven right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go down, there's your minor seven. Okay, and then here you have your octave. So can you guys take a screenshot of that?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to cover some more of this on Wednesday. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it that time?